So Barrett, man, we've been out here running these things all morning. I guess the only one we haven't run is this, and this is kind of intriguing to me. What is this product that we have right here?
This is a tree saw, and it does extend out from the quick attach so that you can drop trees from a safe distance away from your machine.
Okay, so I can put this on my little skid steer. Do I need high flow for this unit?
We have multiple flow options. So you have a 17 to 23 as well as a 20 to 30, so you can run it through high flow or a standard flow.
Okay, great. And then what's the motor or pump on this unit?
So this is a gear motor on it. It's a fluid gear motor.
Okay. And these teeth, I mean, I'm cutting into trees all day long. I think I'm gonna wear through teeth. How do I replace these teeth or replace this blade?
So these are hardened and replaceable teeth.
Okay.
Simply taking off the bolt off the back of the one, swapping it out with the new tooth, bolting it back up, and good to go.
I can call you guys for parts anytime.
Absolutely.
All right, fantastic. And then this isn't just a nice little hand rest. What do we use this to push trees over and stuff?
It is. You're pushing on the tree to make it fall away from your machine, safety first. But secondly, with a 30-inch blade, you can clean cut up to, 8-10-inch trees, but you can actually take down a little bit bigger tree by putting a little tension on it and cutting into the edge of the tree and then pushing it over the rest of the way.
Okay. I think when we were going through the factory, I saw one that looked like it maybe rotated or something like that.
That's correct. So this is our fixed tree saw. We do offer a manual rotating tree saw, which actually allows you to move the head here 90 degrees in either direction.
Okay.
So it's good for
so it could go up and like clip off a couple little
lemon trees, even trying to cut down material that's laying across the ground, both applications.
Well, this is a cool little attachment. I like it's got side steppers to get in, a heavy duty frame on the back. It looks really well built. All right, so right behind you, this one, now I did not get to use this one today, but this one, I'm gonna use it a little bit later. This looks like the bad dog out here. Don't get in this guy's way, right? I mean.
That is correct. This is a Terminator tree puller.
Okay.
So as you see, it's got 3/4 inch AR400 bottom teeth here, which are the ones that actually do the gripping on the tooth.
Okay.
They do have a beveled edge in front, so you can use it for digging, close the jaws, you can get up underneath root balls, pry them up. The serrations on the top here are 5/8 AR400 for, cutting roots, ripping out the roots, which that's a little feature I like to do when it's a little hard to pull the tree out. You get up underneath the root ball, pry it up a little bit, clamp back on it, pull it right out.
Okay, so you can bend, twist, turn. You don't have to worry about, this is AR400. I mean, this is not the cheap steel that you see on some of these products.
This is not the cheap steel. This is the heavy duty, extreme duty steel.
Okay, so these teeth, they interline, or do they, how do they?
They do,
collapse
they interlock, and in the back portion here, there is a rounded out section for really getting up close and personal with these trees. We do have 2 3.5-inch bore cylinders on this attachment, so gripping onto trees should be no problem.
Yeah, so you're gripping from both sides, not just one side.
That is
awesome.
correct.
Nice heavy duty back rack there that, if things are falling towards you, it won't get in your way, it won't bend it or break it.
That's correct. This is actually 3/8 wall tubing here.
Okay.
So very stout, very sturdy.
Now this opening, what is this? It looks like it's almost 4 feet or something like that?
It is. It's about 45 inches at the tips here, and of course it tapers back as you go further toward the machine.
Okay, so but I can't grab a 48-inch diameter tree. What kind of trees can I pull or pluck with this on average, would you say?
Trees up to a foot with a little bit of, digging into the root ball, you can handle.
Okay, and a lot of that probably depends on the weight of your machine, the size of your machine too,
Absolutely,
right?
and how aggressive you want to be with it.
Okay, all right, but you could go in and grab briars and pull them out and grab bushes and get around them and pinch them and grab them. That's great.
It's great for huge shrubs and bushes, stuff with shallow root balls all day.
Yeah. Okay, that's fantastic, fantastic. Now, the next 2 products are my 2 favorite products that we've had out here all day. Can we talk about this first one out here? This thing is a terror over here. I mean, it wasn't 30 minutes and I took out a row of trees with not even looking back.
That's a pretty common response to this one. It is a mean machine here, not only in looks, but also performance. So this is a 60-inch disc mulcher. Great for land clearing, taking down trees. As you have experience with it now, you chop off the top of the tree, vertically mulch it right down, turns former trees into what we have all over the ground here. This one in particular is a 60-inch solid single piece machine blade. No welding on the blade whatsoever. Everything's bolted connections. It's got beaver teeth, carbide coated teeth that are replaceable.
Yeah, because I ran into a few rocks, but it didn't even chip or bend any of the teeth out here.
They are pretty durable.
Yeah.
They do wear down over time, as with anything, but they are replaceable and they are pretty durable.
So sizes, I've got a smaller machine, I've got a bigger machine, what are the sizes and options? Are there sizes and options?
We do offer two sizes in the disc mulcher here. We have the 60 and then we also have a 44.
Okay.
The 44 is going to be a lot more friendly to your smaller size machines.
Great, and then flow, what kind of flow do I have to have on this?
You have multiple flow ranges, high flow down to standard. This one in particular is a high flow. We do try to target a certain RPM range, so based off of flow, we will adjust your motor displacement to try to maintain that RPM.
Okay, and I'll tell you, one thing with this that you should probably keep in consideration for every other attachment is you must have a cab enclosure. You must have a 1/2-inch polycarbonate door on the front of it. So this is throwing some serious material in the front of the cab. It came up at me a few times, so I was very happy to have that safety door on there.
Absolutely. This is definitely something we recommend having a forestry machine or something with a thick polycarbonate door, because safety is, first and foremost. This is a little bit wild as far as the material that it takes in.
Wild is an understatement, guys. All right, so let's take a look on this back side. Now I see we've got foot pads and this and that, but we actually also have a couple of bolt holes here, and it looks like maybe on the other side you've got a couple bolt patterns going on. What are we seeing on the underneath?
So on the deck itself, we have a couple of these beaver tooth holders and beaver teeth mounted to the deck, so that when material is coming in, it's just not riding on the blade and getting spun out the other side. It's having a solid stop where it holds that material on top of the blade and lets it mulch it down a little bit into finer pieces.
Okay. All right, so kind of like cutting against yourself. It's making that cut
That's
happen.
correct.
And then I think you talked about this little trap door here. What did you say this does?
So that is a 1-inch AR400 deflector flap, and the purpose of that is to limit the amount of material that's getting shot out the output. So, it serves as the same purpose as the teeth, where it kind of deflects some of that material down and not just shooting it out the front end.
Sounds like these things are all built out of AR400. Is everything AR400 on the entire machine, or what determines where you use that and where you don't?
Typically for ground engaging parts or parts that are going to be, seeing a lot of wear, we'll typically use AR400. This is built very sturdily, 3/8-inch deck and deck sides here, very heavily built.
Okay, now we're on to my favorite product. This is, you might be surprised because that one is a terror. But this one's my favorite because I think it's so dynamic. It works better than you think it's going to. It's stronger than what you think it's going to be. I was very impressed running this machine out along that fence row. I mean, we did ditch banks, fence rows. I just did clear open spans. It was really pretty impressive. It doesn't cut like some of the others. It does hammer and kind of break apart the tree more than cutting through the tree, but it did a very nice job, very nice job. Tell me a little bit about this blade design here. You've got some blades that work over. You've got like this bow tie looking thing. Tell me a little bit about that.
So this is a sandwich style blade holder, meaning it's got a blade holder on top and bottom. The blade is sandwiched between the two. These are 5/8 AR400 blades with double bevels on both sides, so you can spin it in either direction based on swapping your H valve around. We do require you to swap the H valve so that you can't just swap flow in the other direction and then isolate all that force into your bearing shaft.
Okay.
So
like
that's just a safety mechanism. Yes,
okay.
sir.
So you don't destroy the product you just bought.
That's correct.
Perfect.
So this in particular is a piston style motor, direct drive, shaft directly into the gearbox, directly onto the blade holder.
Yeah, this was awesome. And then are there other options?
There are other options. So there are other flow options. We have a 17 to 30 as well as a 27 to 35 flow range. We also offer this with a gyrator motor and a right angle gearbox for those machines with lower end flow capacities.
I really liked how this one is situated here, and I don't know if we can see it on camera, but I'm going to spin this one up. The blade actually sticks out away from the face, and you've got this nice guard or a push guard. And what I was doing was kind of coming up and hitting the stuff and pushing it away from the machine a little bit.
Yeah.
Really well built. I was also dropping the blade on top of stuff and material. Really a great little machine. Very, very dynamic. It's almost like putting your arm on the front of a machine. You can go up and down and left and right. What is it, 90 degrees up and 10 degrees down or something like that?
It's 90 degrees plus another 10 to 15 down past the parallel to the ground mark, so that you can get on the other side of a bankment or a pond. That's a great use for this product. You're not getting your machine too close to the water. You can send it down on the bank and just drive around all the way, take down all that hard to reach brush that grows up on the edges of ponds.
I even took it further, because I was able to take the bucket rotation and rotate it even further out. It was really, I can't say enough good about this particular product. I love this.
It has a lot of uses, a lot of places that don't usually get, love and attention. This thing can handle it.
Let's go to the back here and talk about a couple things that are going on. We talked about the different motors, we talked about the different flows, but I gotta have an electrical setup for my machine. So do I have to have, this one's shown with the 7-pin on here. Do I have to have a case drain? Do I have to have electrical? How does that work?
Nope, so case drain is going to be dependent upon what motor you have.
Okay.
So you may or may not have the case drain. You don't have to have it if your machine doesn't have the capabilities.
Okay, so I could just have the standard hydraulics.
You could just have the standard hydraulics and run it. You do have to have wiring capabilities, but we do offer multiple wiring harnesses. Typically we have the 7-pin, the 8-pin, the 14-pin, as well as a universal wiring harness, which actually just needs a power supply, and you have a toggle switch to actuate the multifunctions.
Okay, so I can use this with my 7-pin. I just change it out, lock it in place, and put the next one on. Or I can do with just a direct power with a universal switch like you had. All right, so the angle here, we talked 90, 10 to 15 below. What is this angle here that we have?
So we have 90 degrees where you can have the boom arm directly in front of you, or 90 degrees off to the right here.
Off to the right. This is fantastic, and you can see it really good when it's all the way off to the right inside the cab. You're not really obstructed. I even raised the loader arms and did some high branches. Really just very impressed with this machine overall. Built very well. Looks good. I'm gonna have to take one of these home with me. You put this in
make that happen.
my carry-on.
Might be hard on that one.
These machines or these attachments, really, one doesn't do everything for you. You really probably want to have one of these, one of those, one of these, one of those, depending upon your application, right?
That's correct.
All
they
right.
definitely shine in their own right and what they're intended to do.
Okay. Well, thanks for taking us on a tour. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks.